What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Play the Fights on College Football Show. Week 12 is here, and there are some battles to be had. We will break down those on the show tonight. Joined alongside my week-to-week co-host, JP. Jake Reese will be in the studio. I'm not sure where he popped to as the starting screen was loading. But, gentlemen, another big week is upon us. We're going to talk a little Week 11, talk a little Week 12. We'll preview those matchups, give our best bets, our dog's dog. If you're new to the show or watching for the first time, make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below your predictions for Week 12 of college football. JP, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. The old Wi-Fi guy swung by today and gave me one of them fancy
Looks
routers, so we're hoping it works well. We're on the 5G side of things, and apparently I still had that, but it just wasn't working the right way. So we're ready, and hopefully this works out well. Otherwise, crash out maybe imminent part 3. I believe 3 consecutive weeks, but the fan perspective went smooth. So fan perspective went up right before the show started, and it worked. So we're hoping.
Jake, we rewind back to, I believe it was Week 4. We were struggling in the hair department, had a midlife crisis. Now we got a little mullet going. How are we feeling? It looks a little fluffy over there.
It does look like you're trying to pull it back and flow that
like
way,
a little
Jacob.
mullet,
like you're
there's
trying to
some
start a
party in the
hockey
back.
haircut.
Yeah,
Like he likes his
kinda.
girlfriend again.
Maybe thinking about like thinning it so it like slicks more back, not as poofy in the high top, a little more in the back. Still shows the Jordan. This is what growing hair looks like. As you
That's
guys
what
saw
I'm saying.
me,
As
long
one
time
that does
ago-
not have had the hair, I
I
can
was about to
say,
say this guy's
be
talking about
confident in
thinning
it,
his hair
you know what I
for
mean?
his style. Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm
buddy.
saying? Come on, Reese, let him know.
The
Heck you, buddy.
The critics were loud and clear about 4 months ago, and look at that, my hair's back, and it's still the same. So
Who was your biggest critic of the short hair? It was outside of like probably the show.
It wasn't. There's
Was
no
it
way
your
it was
girlfriend?
it was the
Mother, brother?
No, it was the president of the bald committee. He's sitting right here in our podcast. He's sitting right there.
Got to have hair to chirp hair. I feel like that should be a built-in rule. Reese, how
That's
you
not
doing?
true because,
Little-
if
okay.
somebody chirps me for being bald and you got hair, it's got to work both ways.
I feel like it's hard to chirp hair though. You got to have it to chirp
I just
somebody.
wanted to be
with
like
it.
JP for about a month, and then I
Yeah,
was like,
buddy,
I kinda want my
you
hair
looked
back.
worse than I did when I had it.
That's crazy. That's crazy because the
Those
hair
last
was
few
all
months
over.
were a struggle. JP, he did hold on to it. Those last few months absolutely struggled. Reese, how you doing? You joined a little late. I don't know what the Wi-Fi issue was. Just a
Yeah,
little mental
no.
reset. How we doing?
We got the 2 screens over here, and like one was behind the other. I'm not sure what the hell was going on, so we had a reset, but we're good here now. Yeah, another week of college football here. Another week in Kansas City. Made a little life decision. We're going to move to Des Moines a lot sooner than I thought, so we're ready to do some moving on with life here.
Sounds like you
Returning
should
to
move.
the-
You should
yeah.
go to Como this weekend. Then as like a was one of your last weekends in Kansas City. You should just make it.
I'm not. I
quick
mean,
little drive down to
I'm here
Como.
for another month. I don't know if Como is like.
Oh, Como
last
should
ditch
definitely
effort.
be on the that should definitely be on one of the bucket lists before you leave Kansas City. Then
Yeah, Reese will be returning to Iowa. First return since 3? How long has it been, Reese? 3 years? Returning back to
August of 21.
Whoa.
So going on
All right.
over 4 years now.
That's the great return. I love that. Okay, let's talk a little college football, gentlemen. It's been a minute since we've been on the show. A lot has happened. A lot has happened over the last week in the coaching world, I should say, last couple of weeks. A lot of big-time games this past week. JP, brief thoughts. Iowa falls to Oregon. I'm sure you gave them on your Iowa fan perspective. I believe streaming live now. Did that go live now?
Yeah. It went live about 7:15 right before the show. AKC,
Yeah.
I appreciate you tuning in. We got plenty.
you might want to sit tight, AKC.
yeah,
We got something for
AKC.
you later.
We made a little Jack State football. A little spoiler alert.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
Oh,
bring
he may get a
He
bid
didn't
on
blow.
the
He didn't blow anything. He just said it might happen.
it may
That was one of the bigger gut punches I've felt in a long time.
second
that,
ranked
that hurt.
gut punch of
JP,
Iowa
good
fans.
news. Good news though, JP. You get the opportunity to get off the mat right away. This is why
Yeah,
we
but
love
the
college
whole
football.
thing is it you needed one of the two at home, right, to be in that
Mm.
10-2 conversation, and you didn't get either
absolutely.
one of them, and both close, right?
Mm.
So now like a 9-3 year is still a really good year. 8-4, 7-5 is where I had in preseason, so that's expectations. But just being in that spot, man, was different. and it is a big gut punch. And so it took a day or two to kind of recover and reset from that. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I think that's a really good football team you lost to. You made a play that was unreal. I mean, that's a dime. You couldn't put it on a platter and walk it to him any better than that ball. So it's just part of the game.
Coach Drinkwitz told you basically that you're still having a good season today. I mean, he came out and said, anybody who's not making the playoff, you're having a good
lot of
season.
people forgetting how many he wanted earlier in the year.
Yeah, he wanted a 64-player bracket. Drinkwitz is just kind of, sometimes he talks out of his ass in those early week pressers. So shout out Elijah Drinkwitz and Mizzou fans. I was not chuckling at your Iowa, breakdown or thoughts. I was completely laughing at the AKC saying the Lord was JP's barber now. So that is very funny. If you're a podcast listener, JP's head is shiny for good reason. And that is a very good comment. And yes, he is locked in. We will preview the G5 tonight, that game to be announced, but we also have 3 main matchups to preview in week 12. Before we go to our week 11 takeaways, guys, I put it on the document. I wanted to ask a question, and this is a non-football question. It's our show. And I never throw these in there anymore. We used to do these back in the It's Just Money days. It could go anywhere, but I've been thinking about it the last few weeks, and we're 25 now. Everybody on the show is at minimum 25.
What to say? We're older than that, bud. We're older than that, dude. We're old.
All right, I'm 26.
Thanks for showing my age. I feel young too. I feel young.
26.
Old,
the metabolism slows down to 25. Old. Let me get to my point. Let's focus in here. This is an important question, and you guys should all have answers because we were in college together, so I know you bastards ate it with me. Fast food. Top 3 individual items can be from any fast food chain of all time. Top 3 items. What first comes to mind? You got to have one item that you think of that you're like, this is
individual items.
Yes, you're like, oh my god! Every time I go here, I have to get this, and then you think about it, and you're like, that might
there's
be
an easy
the best
1-1
fast food
here.
Item. I think we share the 1-1, JP. It could be. What is your 1-1?
Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch.
There you go.
That is a great. That is exactly the right 1-1.
I had the Culver's Butter Burger on my list.
There you go, Shape. That's where I was going. That's where I was.
5-layer burrito from AKC in the comments. See, this is everybody's got their 1-1.
I had it last week. I had it last week, and I was very disappointed. I was upset. Also,
that's tough.
I brought this up
after an Iowa State win. You were disappointed. There's no way that burger.
No, this was Friday. This was Friday night.
Leading to it.
Okay.
I brought this up to like 5.
Was this pre or post pancake flavored gummies from the gas station?
No gummies. Just guys, I'm on a. I'm trying to gain weight here. So we're doing it. When you order a butter burger and I say add ketchup and pickles, do you assume that the cheese is on there that doesn't need to be said? Because
part of the deluxe.
Apparently, the people at Culver's didn't understand that. So I got a butter burger without cheese.
Hang on, and then the butter burger just a hamburger to them though, or is it a cheeseburger?
Yeah, you have to. The deluxe version is the one with cheese and tomato.
I think that's a you thing, Shape. I don't think you can blame
all the way. That's what they call it.
That's a gotta know the thing.
I'm looking at the butter burger on the menu. I see the cheese on there. Just assume like it's gonna be on there. It wasn't.
That's like going to Five Guys and not knowing that their cheeseburger is actually a double cheeseburger. Their little cheeseburger is just saying you just got. That's like one of the things you got to know.
Is there another item we're missing here, Parks?
Yes, and it's an extremely hot take, and I've shared it.
Don't say.
Oh,
Cane's.
Absolutely not Cane's. The grease on the Cane's chicken strips comes out about 20 minutes after. That is a quick run through the system in the park.
Also, if you ask somebody what their favorite part of Cane's is, and they say the sauce or the bread, that means that chicken.
Then it can't be that good. I love that.
Count it.
Can't be good. Raising Cane's chicken, not good.
Also, if you go to Cane's and get double toast, I hate you. You're supposed to.
I'm going 1-1 cheesy gordita. But at number 3 on the list, sneaking in, and people are going to be irate about this. It's the Whopper with cheese. The Whopper is an all-time fast food item, and Burger King gets a bespoken name out of McDonald's. It just got thrown in the garbage for McDonald's. For some reason, it just got a bad name. I think it's the older-looking restaurants, but Burger King is damn good, and the Whopper is a top 3 all-time.
I feel like it's kind of like Georgia this year. It's not like their best fastball, but they're kind of just still around. They keep throwing punches,
hanging around. Number 1 on the menu,
hanging around. Can't get rid of them, so they got to be doing something right.
There's another answer here from a Wendy's here. Breakfast Baconator.
Yes.
Never had.
Yes.
Only have it in pinches. Like if I have to head to the airport really early or at the
airport.
What
about the McMuffin? The McMuffin,
Overrated.
I think the
McDonald's
McMuffin's the
breakfast
best.
overrated.
The McMuffin's the best
Sausage,
menu.
I
egg,
like
and
item
cheese
right now.
McMuffin is just
like
an
a
elite
McMuffin.
pull. God,
Sausage, egg,
this
and
is why
cheese
we needed to
McMuffin.
have this conversation because there are some items out there
Parks.
not getting their hour.
But you know where I
we trying
went
to
for
win.
Veterans Day for a little BOGO? It's not fast food, but you know where I went? I went a little
Tell me.
not on our Panda days, but our other college days, a little Firehouse.
Firehouse subs. Did you get a beef and
Got
cheddar
me some
brisket
that-
on
that-
white, pickle on the side?
I did. They had BOGO. I got one of those, and then I got a
Also-
little engineer.
Happy belated Veterans Day to our guy Reese. Also,
Yes, happy
people in the
belated
comments.
Veterans
Yeah,
Day
we
to
should
Happy
know
Reese.
that.
Veterans Day to our guy Reese.
Yeah, if you don't know that,
Appreciate you,
we
boys.
served in the United States Army, still sort of actively serving, I should say.
Still
right?
sort of active.
Kind of, sort of.
Yes,
Internship right
that's-
now.
Is that a way? Is that a way to put it?
It's not-
But
yeah,
shout
that's
out
the way to put
Veterans
it.
Day. Shout out to all the veterans, including our guy Reese. But let's get to college football. I had to bring that up. Little fun spin on the show. We used to do a lot more of that, so maybe we'll spin that back in. But week 11, a lot happened, guys. There's some big upsets, really close games. Indiana survives at the wire with probably one of the best catches in recent history of college football. What did you take away from the week as a whole? From the rankings for week 12, anything. Floor is open. Jake, you're up.
November football rocks, and just I know we got some good college hoops games these first couple of weeks, but they just don't matter. And you get action. Like last weekend, you had 85 and sunny in the South. You had rain and snow, just gross weather in the Midwest, all going on. Like having the Iowa State and the Iowa game on at the same time that is November football in climate as great as it can. We have action going on tonight. Awesome, fantastic games last night. And these close games, just even Iowa State being in a close game, clearly like you're playing for bowl eligibility, your playoff and your conference hopes are out the window. But man, it just feels so much bigger in these close games. Just feel like every play, like you remember the big November plays, fellas, for your teams, win or lose. You're going to remember those plays just for a long time. And the conference races get crazier, especially in these big conferences. We have numerous conferences, G5, P4, where a lot of them are sitting there with 1-2 losses, and like these games are just getting bigger and bigger. I don't necessarily love, obviously, realignment and all these huge conferences, but that aspect of it where you have like 4 teams who are sitting there like 4-1 right now just makes November football that much bigger. And it's just another, last weekend was like the full on, like we are in the middle of November, and college football I think it's just getting started. Like the best of college football is just getting started. And I know the beginning of the season feels like 9 years ago.
I can agree with that because it feels like the weather's been a little later this year. So you've really got the full effect of like walking outside Saturday morning. It's that brisk air. You got your warm drink, cold drink if you're one of those guys. Got game day, you have to stream it. So something's a little different, but the football's just getting really good. I mean, last night that was a dogfight. Kent State, Akron, for the true sickos. Ben Finley throwing for 424. Just can't beat stuff like that. JP, week 11 takeaway.
I still don't know who's going to win a national title. That's my biggest one. While I feel like I still have to learn a lot more about teams. Like, to be honest with you, like I don't have a good grasp on Georgia. It feels like I haven't seen their real top end. I haven't I'm not sold on Texas. You're not quite sold on some other teams around the country. And Indiana looks really good. Ohio State looks really good. Oregon just said, okay, we're still here. Alabama looks really good. I don't think that there is a S tier type team out there. There's a lot of A's and a whole lot of A minuses and B pluses out there. And so that's still where I'm at takeaway wise, like as unoriginal boring as it is. Like I couldn't definitively, if someone gave me $20 to go throw on a national title team, I feel like I'm still waving and not sure where I'd go with that.
I can agree. Honestly, there was a lot of people, and this was early in that game, but that Ohio State Purdue game was interesting for a while, like a little bit. And then Ohio State did what they do. But there was some who like, God, why is this even somewhat
It was on for a little bit. It was on the screen for a little bit.
As it should have been. Barry Odom's going to get that place right. I'm telling you. Reese, week 11 takeaway.
Yeah, it's just that it's like JP saying the 12-team playoff might be good for college football after all this time. Who knows? But I think when at the end of this year, you're looking at how are we going to compare all these 2-loss teams? You're going to have, I mean, what if Georgia Tech goes and you win this, you go beat Georgia, but then you lose in the ACC championship game? Does that 2-loss team get in? How does Vanderbilt 2-loss team, like, where do all these 2-loss teams from across the country, how do they stack up? Because, like, it can be like USC, you're going to get or I think Michigan already has 3. Like, Michigan, you're going to get a bunch of 2-loss teams at the end of the year where, like, how are you really going to compare? Because then you go strength of schedule against some of these guys. Well, if you're Big Ten, SEC, like, which college really or which conference really was better this year? So, like, I think the committee at the end of the year has a really, really difficult decision ahead of them. Like, that group of 5 teams got to get in, but, are you going to leave out one of these SEC teams? Are you going to leave out a Vanderbilt team who one of their losses was on the road to a Texas team who's kind of come into their own? Like, how are you going to judge these teams at the end of the year? So, like, that's kind of my takeaway is, like Sheriff just said, we're in the heat of it right now. We're like the best college football is about to be played, and you're undefeated right now. You could go lose 2 games. You could lose 1 game, and how does that affect your overall perception to this committee? So, like, you got to play sound football the rest of the way through, especially if you're one of these teams that's kind of on the fringe, because if you don't, there can be some other 2-loss team in a different conference that can come and take your spot.
Don't worry, Reese. I watched a 7-minute video from the beautiful, massive-eared Paul Feinbaum today, already making the case for 3-loss Texas and why they should be in. So we are in for a wild ride. Another wild ride from ESPN talking about 3-loss SEC teams getting in over any other 2-loss team in the country. That's just the way college football works. My Week 11 takeaway quickly was just more of a reflection on the sport. Over the last few years and in the fall of some programs and how fast it went, speaking from recent past, think of like where Oklahoma State was at. Oklahoma's last year in the Big 12, Oklahoma State beats them in the Bedlam game. And then how quick downhill that went. It's pretty much at what feels like the bottom, or what felt like the bottom last year, and they're still hanging around down there. And then Penn State. I watched a video on YouTube today of every college football playoff touchdown from 2024. There's a lot of Penn State scores on that. I mean, Penn State was in the Final Four, won 2 really good games to get to that point. And then I scratch my head at them now. Like, we're talking about, man, they almost had that upset over Indiana. So there's also been this fall and the rise of some programs. So how different it would be. Like, if I gave you the narrative of, man, Indiana just barely survived at Penn State. I thought they were going to get them. If I said that to you 3 years ago, you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, Penn State, Indiana was a 30-point dog headed to that. It was their first ever win in Happy Valley. So how different is this sport now from just a few short years ago? And will we see that more year over year with the ability of the transfer portal and all these things and just the general parity of the sport? Hot word. We're going to mark down how many times we say that tonight. That's one. But that's just my reflection. On Week 11, I guess I looked at it as a whole, and there was just a lot of stories that I think of where programs were at, even when we were living together just a few short years ago. So that's where I see it. Any feedback from anybody's takeaways? Mine, Reese's on the 12-team playoff, Jake on JP's, anything.
I wanted to go off kind of what you said because you mentioned them. You want to know a little fun fact about going into this weekend that I heard? Kansas State hasn't won at Stillwater since 1999.
Oh my God.
And now you feel like, this is the time to break the curse, but Blackman's going to be in town. Things get weird. I don't know.
Is he going to be on the field?
Well, he's getting.
They need him
playing. No,
suit up.
They probably
is he
need
playing.
They need
That's going to be an issue if he's not.
They do. They need all the help they can get. But all right, that's
Bring back
Week 11. Let's leave it there. Let's move it on. Let's go into Week 12. Week 12, we've got 3 main matchups to preview. Along with that, we got one great G5 banger we will have to talk about before we go to our betting segment of the show. All of these previews are presented by our great partner over at No Rivals. Shop NoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on the best hats in collegiate sports. Check them out. I got the old vintage Nebraska collection on. Reese is rocking the Syracuse orange mascot lid. There's a ton of new collections dropping. There's a few of their newest collection out there, the rustic collection. Check them out. It's like a Carhartt looking hat. Awesome design. Check them out today. ShopNoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS when you check out for free shipping on your order. Shout out ShopNoRivals.com.
Hey, before we jump into previews, we have a new leader on the boards.
Okay.
Anybody want to guess who that is?
Are we like on the
Reese.
ATS board?
Yes, on the ATS board. That's
Reese is now
around
winning
115
the board.
games accounted for right now. What's his record?
If I could
pull that up.
If I could somehow just pull the next 4 best bets out of my ass, then I could get the Triple Crown. But best bets ain't going my way.
The
This year,
Triple
so.
Crown maybe
Speaking-
just not possible.
Triple Crown.
dog
Triple Crown's
is a
not getting
dog
grabbed
fight.
this year.
I was gonna say, speaking
There's
of
a little
Forrest, he
resurgence.
dropped to the bottom of the dog's dog.
We
he's
haven't.
been
I don't
down
think
there.
Rishol, I
Yeah.
believe, was like 7-3 last week. He's had 2 really good weeks in a row. I've had 2 average weeks in a row. Has allowed him to jump. He's now
I'm an
59,
absolute dumpster
53
fire.
and 2,
It's a good
which is only 2 games above me. But he's now taking the lead.
It's
so
battle.
that
You
matters.
guys,
yeah.
We got
you
2
guys
more weeks.
laughed at me last week after I kept telling everybody to fade me after going 2-8 2 weeks ago. Then I followed it up with a 3-7. So come get it while it's hot with all
You're
my
due
picks.
for one.
Take the
I feel like we're
opposite.
due for one.
I'm
Hey,
giving out
3 for
winners.
1 on the best bets of the weekend for the show, and 3 winners under the dog's dog. I'm sorry, 2 outright winners
2.
under dog's dog this
Mhm.
week. ATS aside,
Players.
we're giving you winners at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, let's go into the Week 12 previews now. Let's lead it off with an SEC battle. Let's talk Oklahoma and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Alabama, touchdown favorite at home against one of the more favorited quarterbacks to win the Heisman Trophy. It's kind of fallen off since his injury, but a talented one nonetheless, going against another talented quarterback in Ty Simpson, who's also in that Heisman Trophy race. Let's break this one down from the top. Going to be an absolute dogfight. JP, do it for us.
Yeah, to me, this one is going to be a straight line of scrimmage battle, but you do wonder if it's going to be Alabama and trying to get that run game going more. Is this really the team that it's going to happen against? Oklahoma's been really good defensively, as we've seen throughout the year. They've actually kind of gotten their run game humming a little bit. I know Tennessee's not completely stout. This isn't the same team that Alabama is, but their confidence goes a long ways. You have to remember these are college kids and college offenses. A confident team goes a long ways, and kids feeling good about themselves and teams feeling good about themselves is worth a couple points every time and a couple extra yards for sure. So for me on this one, Oklahoma has to continue that success, right? And you have to find a way to get Mateer back confident throwing the football. He's been a different guy through the SEC play. Obviously, that was supplemented by a better run game the last couple of weeks, but he's not going to dice and slice and dice you through the air just by arm talent and putting a ball in a great spot. He's going to have a little schemed open, supplemented by the run game. Alabama, for me, on the defensive side, is still really good in the secondary. So I'm not really expecting Oklahoma to really pop over the top there. But if they can win the line of scrimmage a little bit, and you can, mix in some interior plays with his legs getting out of the pocket and just causing a little chaos, there's your recipe for this offense to have another successful weekend. Flip it to the other side. Ty Simpson continues to be one of the guys around the country that everybody wants to watch and continue to just flourish within everything and towards the top of the Heisman race. And he is
Little snap. We got Oklahoma.
just
Dog in the background
unreal.
likes Oklahoma.
This guy's just whining to wine right now. And so for me, there's not really an Alabama run game that's really going to pop here either, with Oklahoma being as good defensively, but there's a guy that can do it without a run game, and he's done it consistently throughout this year in Ty Simpson. So I would say that Ryan Williams has stepped up a little bit more. They still have good pieces outside of that in the receiver room, but there's a chance maybe Ty Simpson deals with a little more pressure than he's seen to this point. This is an Oklahoma team that can get after you along the front. They're really good in the linebacker room. And that's not something I don't think he's seen as much to this point. And if somebody disagrees, let me know, but I don't think it's the same, attack that he's seen. So can you keep him upright a little bit more? Can he just continue to work without a run game, and maybe that pass game supplements the run game and we're just playing complementary football that way? Otherwise, it could be a long day for Oklahoma if we're not be able to get the ground game going, and Alabama just has another good one with 2 really good pieces on the outside and, an offensive line that's not great, but finding a way to get the job done.
Yeah, I think that you kind of nailed it on all fronts when you look at both sides of the ball. But to me, what stands out here is Alabama's offense. They've been passing the ball extremely well and consistently throughout the year. And what has Oklahoma done? They've defended the pass really consistently throughout the year. So that's where the line's where it's at. I mean, you get a couple points here for having this game in Tuscaloosa. But if you can get to the quarterback, like JP just said, and Ty Simpson gets under pressure a little bit, bang him up, kind of take his legs out of the question. If you lay a few good hits on him, you're going to make things really tough on this Alabama offense because they haven't run the ball nearly the way that they've wanted to. I think they're around 120th in college football in rushing per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big stat, and that stands out, especially against an Oklahoma front that can get after your quarterback. So that's kind of the matchup to watch in my mind. Jay, where do you see this?
Yeah, JP mentioned the word confidence. Is there Is there a more confident team right now than Oklahoma? Going into the bye, coming off of that win at night in Knoxville, where I kind of laid it out. And I thought it was damn near
We all
impossible
did,
for
I
them
think.
to go in there
Yep.
and win, to be honest with you. But it came on the front of not a great material passing game, like JP said, but it was the turnovers. It was the defensive line wrecking havoc. I think they have a much tougher challenge with this Alabama offensive line this week. Is our Mason Thomas going to be good to go? He pulled his quad or hammy, somewhere along that line when he scored that running touchdown after he got the turnover in Knoxville. He's going to be big to have. I think Oklahoma has more depth on the defensive line, really more than anybody else in college football. I think Ty Simpson in Alabama's offense, they're so clean with the football. They do not turn it over. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. They're top 5 in turnover margin. They force teams to turn it over, and they don't give it up that much. And that's how Oklahoma won in Knoxville. So are they going to really bank on forcing Simpson and creating weird turnovers out of Alabama? I don't think so. So it's going to be just, I think for them, Oklahoma's got to get Alabama off the field as soon as possible. They're top 10 in third down defense for a reason. If you can't create turnovers, you better get Alabama off their rhythm early, get them off the field if you're not picking it off, if you're not forcing fumbles. But you mentioned it, JP. They're running the football well. Xavier Robinson has been really good for them. We thought Jay Knott was going to be the back for Oklahoma. No, it's been Robinson, and they were rushing for 166 yards per game these last 3 games. The running game is starting to really go for Oklahoma. That's a good recipe if you're going to go into, again, another top 5, top 3 toughest place to play in Tuscaloosa and try to come up with an upset. Like, the recipe's still there. I just don't know if you can bank on the turnovers as much as you did when you won the game in Knoxville.
Where do you guys see this? I'm curious, before we go to Reese's quick breakdown, before we go to picks. Oklahoma's defense giving up 14 points a game is all. Yes, the inflation's still there, but we're more than halfway through the conference season, gents. How many points does Alabama need here to win this game at home? What's that number in your mind? JP, Jake, Reese, any number that jumps off the page? If like Alabama's got to get to this and they can get it done easily.
24?
21.
I was going to say, it's funny because
24 feels great.
Cover 3 threw that number out there. They said 21.
Yeah, I don't know if 21 makes me feel super comfortable. I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm like 21. Book it.
I can see a 21-17. I can see that. You got to get some turnovers.
Touchdowns is my issue. Yeah.
That's the question in my mind. Reese, what do you see on this game as a whole?
Yeah, because that huge win in Knoxville, you look at that Oklahoma defense, that's the reason why they won the football game, but they also didn't play great to their standards. I mean, they still let Tennessee be 7 of 13 on third downs. They had 11 penalties overall as a team, and they gave up 28 first downs. So, like, that defense wasn't outstanding, but it's still a big reason why they won that football game, too. And then, no offense to Joey Aguilar, but, I mean, Ty Simpson's playing a little bit better football, and he's one of the better downfield passers we've seen in college football this year. And Aguilar just kind of has those balls where he just lets it go sometimes, and 50-50 balls, and he had 2 interceptions. Like, the big thing is Oklahoma won the turnover battle in that game, too. So, if you can get short field and you can get big explosive plays on defense, yeah, it's going to help absolutely, because going on the road, like especially early in this game, you have to get third down stops and you have to pick up third downs on this game because you have to take the crowd out of it and you have to keep yourself in this football game. Because if you can go on the road in Knoxville and then Bryant-Denny back-to-back, that might be one of the more biggest accomplishments I think a team could have this season, because like that's a brutal lineup right there. But it's also, Mateer, since the SEC play has started, he hasn't been what we've seen out of conference. Like, he has struggled. Like, you talk about throwing the football. I think he's completing passes just about like 61%. He's got 5 touchdowns. That's through the air and on the ground, and then 4 interceptions. Like, the guy hasn't been lighting it up. So I imagine Arbuckle is seeing that, and he's like, well, what can we do to get this guy more comfortable and get him established in this game? Because if he's going to have like that Tennessee game, he was 19 for 29. He only had an interception, no touchdowns or anything like that. Like, it's just a struggle of a game for him through the air. So if you're going to go on the road and win this game, I think Oklahoma's got to have like an Iowa-style approach where you got to be huge on defense. You got to win the turnover battle, and if you can make something big happen on special teams and kind of take the crowd out of it, especially early, I think that's kind of their recipe here, especially with where the number's at.
What do you think, Reese? Let's go to picks in this one. Do you think Oklahoma can pull off? And I agree, one of the more impressive stretches if you go on the road to 2 tough environments like this. Can they get it done, or do you like the Crimson Tide against the spread?
I like the Tide in this spot against the spread because I just think Knoxville and then Bryant Denny back to back. Like that is an insane lineup. That is very hard to do, especially for a team who hasn't looked that great on offense. Defense travels, yes. But I think offense, you got to have a lot more out of them here for this game. And I don't think they're going to get it down the road this time.
I said it earlier. I love the 24 number JP threw out there for Alabama to get to. I think that's what they do get to at home here. But I think it's going to be a slobber knocker, to say it lightly. Like this is going to be more of a Big Ten style matchup within the SEC, and that's just a credit to both defenses.
A bitch of a number.
It does. So I like the Sooners. I'm going to go Boomer Sooner this weekend. I think they lose the game, but I like a 24-20. That's what's sticking out in my mind.
That would
Sooner against the spread, Alabama to win.
They'd call that awesome football in the SEC, but if it was played by two teams with different logos on their helmets, it's ugly.
The Iowa guy had to get that one out of his mouth.
No, but it's true.
Not just me, man.
I know. It's just funny the guy.
Well, I know my brand of football is ugly.
Big Ten Jake, you should be sticking up for JP when he makes that point.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I just said it's ironic,
good.
The guy who said it. That's all I'm saying.
JP, what do you think on this matchup?
I'm going to lay him. I think anything under a touchdown here with Alabama is the move. For me, it is maybe one or two bigger plays on the offensive side. Who you're really going to put your, trust into? I'm going to put it into Ty Simpson and this Alabama offense to make a couple more plays. I think there's a world in which Oklahoma continues some run success, but it's not going to pop for 200 or 150. It might be a couple scrambles where Mateer makes legs plays, but until he beats a secondary consistently with his arm, I don't have it in me to pick them outright in this spot.
Jake.
It is something to note, though, that Jackson Arnold was able to run with his hair on fire on this Alabama team a year ago. I will say, though, that also came off the back of Jalen Milroe. How many turnovers did he have in that game? I can't even remember. It was like 3 or 4. And I think Ty Simpson's just built much better for this Kalen DeBoer offense. I talked about how clean his play has been. And I think Reese nailed it perfectly. Like, I think the receivers are better at Alabama than Tennessee. I think Simpson's better than Aguilar. You cut the turnovers out. Tennessee still moved the ball pretty well against Oklahoma. And at home, I'm backing Tide here. I think that they can cover the number and get to a touchdown and beat this Oklahoma team.
All right, there it is. 1 on the Sooners. Alabama takes up the other 3 spots. This is going to be a great game. So make sure you tune into that one within the SEC. Let's keep it moving down the line. Let's go to the ACC. Let's talk where College Game Day is at as they head to Pitt for Notre Dame to battle against the Panthers. Gentlemen, Notre Dame, double-digit favorite, 11.5 in favor of the Fighting Irish, who have been on an absolute roll. Feels like their defense has found their footing a little bit. And Narduzzi came out with some interesting remarks, to say the least, earlier this week about how he doesn't feel like this is a must-win game for Pitt as a program. He thinks he's just got to win the next 2. Get into the ACC title, and that will be good enough. And I don't know if that was just trying to tone down the fact of where he thinks his team is at, the quarterback battle going on, whatever the hell you want to spin it. How do you see it, Jake?
Technically, he's not wrong, but you'd like to see him.
But like College Game Day in town, it's massive for the program.
Yeah, I like how he's underplaying it. I mean, the ACC, after the month of October and November that they've had, the ACC would like to get this one on their belt again because their best win in the conference is Miami beating Notre Dame merely at home. I mean, let's look at the facts. Pitt is undefeated since switching over.
Florida State beat Alabama, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. Sorry. Again, that felt like 9 years ago. Thanks for the
week 1.
Different teams.
Doesn't even matter anymore, dude. Don't even bring that up to Feinbaum. Don't even bring it up.
5-0 since switching to freshman quarterback Mason Heinschel. They're scoring over 30 points a game. Okay, now you can look at the real stats. They've played what? Is it Stanford? They played Boston College, Syracuse,
Florida State, NC State.
It's
Syracuse.
This will definitely be the best team that they've seen in that 5-game stretch. Thanks, Captain Obvious Jake. But it is worth noting, if the offense isn't playing well for Pitt, which I see it kind of being a problem for them, the defense is going to have to create turnovers. And the linebackers are going to have to play their best game of the year. And it's a really good Pitt linebacking core of Lovelace. Lewis, I think, was my ACC Defensive Player of the Year. You got Biles there. Got to slow down the run. And Jeremiah Love has been playing like a Heisman finalist, a Heisman winner, to be honest with you. He's been really, really good. 7 yards per carry the last 3 weeks. That's on the short end. I kind of added the stats. He rushed for like 9 yards a carry. I think it was against BC, 8 yards a carry against USC. And this is all going on, still giving Jadarian Price 10 to 15 carries a game, and he's still doing this. So if you slow down Jeremiah Love, I think Notre Dame's figured it out with their little two-back system, playing as good as it has. I know it was a struggle kind of getting Love going early against A&M, against Miami. They've figured it out. Mike Denbrock has figured it out with this offense. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, is Pitt's game plan just go make CJ Carr beat you? Might be. And then it might bite you in the butt because I think CJ Carr's still been playing really well. And I think he can go out there and beat you. I like the receivers for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I haven't even flipped to the other side with Chris Ash's defense. They forced 3+ turnovers for the last 5 games. So Notre Dame's clicking at all the right time. There's a couple of different ways Pitt's going to have to win this game. And it's just kind of tough because I see Notre Dame responding whichever way Pitt forces them to beat them. I still see Notre Dame responding and being able to do that.
Yeah, it just feels like we've hit that point of the season, right, where we're talking about a Notre Dame team who makes their way through those American level games and does what they should do to those teams. And then all of a sudden they get back into the Power Four and people are like, oh shit, Notre Dame's like playoff good again. Here we are. We're in that exact spot. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to where they make a statement with the way they can run the football. And I know the way Pitt can throw it. But this is a defense that's, I mean, to say they've settled in like I did is putting it extremely lightly. They've been really, really good. I mean, they hold USC to 24 points. They're throwing up 400 points, 40 points a game and over damn near 400 yards through the air. They could do that against a USC team, which I feel like has more talent on the outside, to say it nicely, than Pitt. I think they're going to be in complete control on the defensive side of the ball, to say it lightly. I think they run the ball and keep Pitt's offense off the field. I think that's the recipe. I think it's out there, and they're a team that's disciplined enough to follow that recipe all the way to a pretty dominant victory is what I see in my mind. But hey, who knows? College game day in town, and the game doesn't matter anymore, like the coach said anyway. JP?
Yeah, Jake, you were talking about how, the linebackers for Pitt really have to step up and slow the run. Like, this is, it's a front for Pitt that's not bad along the defensive front, and the numbers tell you that they can stop the run. That's what the numbers tell you, but it hasn't seen quite a rushing attack like this.
Yeah,
no.
And then there's a world where, yes, you do make CJ Carr beat you, but I don't think it's in the classic drop 8, make him, pick things apart. I think it's more so, let me bring some heat, make sure he's checking down correctly, making the right decisions with pressure in his face under a 2-second clock and not 3-4 seconds with nobody in your face. So I think that's more so what Narduzzi is going to plan out. Now, Heidschel has been solid and not turning it over, but he has, he's made some freshman mistakes, and maybe Freeman in that defense can just one or two of them, right? We thought we were seeing one thing, we're seeing another thing. There's just a bad ball that goes up, or it's a 50-50 ball. If a ball gets picked, it changes a lot. If it just drops in completion wise, we're learning on the sidelines and we're going to work. To me, like, the run game for Pitt, and just, you have to supplement it somehow. You can't tell this kid to throw it 45, 50 times and win. You have to simply be, confident in a run game too. People have gotten Notre Dame to this point. Yes, they've gotten better, but people have gotten them. So it's not an ungettable defense. Maybe Pitt's just a defense or a team that, right spot, right time, feeling good about themselves, understanding the situation, underplaying it, playing the underdog role. Nobody really thinks we have a shot. We're at home. Throw all the cards out. Let's have a good time with it,
Reese.
Yeah, I think when this one, like, it's always big on third downs, but what is Pitt's defense going to do on first and second downs when it's obvious running plays? Like, can you stop them to get 1 or 2? Can you make Carr be in third and longs all day? And then when you do have third and long, can you bring pressure at the right times? Can he go to the right read, like JP was just talking about? And then, I mean, we saw, A&M go into South Bend, and they put on a very poor tackling performance. Like, they had Craver and Concepcion catching balls and making guys miss, and poor tackling. And not saying Johnson and Williams Jr. are like those guys' levels, but they're still very solid receivers for Heinzel. Like, they're playing the points they are because they're still a solid offense. Yes, they've been playing poor teams, but I mean, Notre Dame scoring 37 a game, and Pitt hasn't faced that solid of a defense, I think, in this stretch. But the fact is, they're still putting up these points because the offense is well-rounded and they can do that if they need to. So I think the issue is just that, Pitt throughout this year, they've won games because they've scored more points. That's how you win football games. But they've also given up 30 to Florida State. They go up 30 to Florida State, who we've seen them have their issues. 30 to West Virginia earlier in the year, and then 30 plus to NC State. Yes, they scored 50 in that game, but still, you're giving up 30 to some middle of the conference to lower offenses in the ACC, and now you're facing this offense, and I just said is averaging 37 a game. So you have to find a way to slow it down. Kind of like what I talked about in the Oklahoma. You got to get turnovers. You got to get stops early because you can't just let Notre Dame coast and go in there and just run the football and do what they want to do. Like, you guys make them play your football game.
All right, let's pick it, gents. Notre Dame, double-digit favorite, like we mentioned, on the road in this spot. Do you think they cover the number? We have 11.5 up tonight. Not sure what will be on the board. JP, you feeling good with 11.5? Is that where you see it too?
Yeah, I think I saw 11.5 for the show. I'll double check, but we'll play off that for if it moves to like 10.5, I'll let you guys know or whatnot. I don't think it's going to cross.
I think it's 12.5 right now.
I would
12.5.
I think it's 12.5 right now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Play 12.
Where do you see it?
It's not.
Do you like Notre Dame 12.5, let's say, or do you like Pitt to cover the number at home in a big spot, Jake?
This is the perfect Marcus Freeman slap in the face game. Like, this reminds me of BYU Tech last week. I can see at kickoff, even crossing maybe 14.5, daring people to take Notre Dame. And I still think you do. You dare Marcel.
Mention that. Brief disclaimer.
Sure, I guess you could
Shout
say
out
that.
Jesus.
Their 2 losses this year, you were gelling with a new defensive coordinator, and you made Marcel Reed and Carson Beck go beat you. You're facing a true freshman quarterback here. Like, this is perfect for Notre Dame to
get after him.
Go and tee off on him and get in his face right away. Yeah, I like Notre Dame. I'd lay it up to 14.
Echoed. Give me the Irish. Better coach, discipline. I think they run the ball. Basically, the Pitt offense gets beat by 10 in time of possession. 10 minutes, that is. JP.
Maggie's crazy.
To this point,
is that visible? I'm sorry. That's bad showing.
Yes, you can hear that. You can hear that.
Somebody gets
that collar. Gotta get that collar off. So
yeah. I taking Pitt?
For me, college football this year wouldn't be what it is without some weirdness in it. So give me Pitt plus the points. They're at home. They know they're underdogs. They know it's going to be tough, but weird things happen throughout college football. Just keep them in the number. Not saying they're going to go knock the door down and win this one and they're rushing the field, but possibilities are endless. So I'll take Pitt plus the points. Pure vibes.
Reese, pure vibes?
Yeah, not a pure vibes guy. I think you got to do a lot to stay yourself with that number. So I'll take Notre. Also, because Notre Dame, you do have 2 losses, and you still have to earn a spot to get a higher seed in this football playoff. How about you go beat the tar off a team who is being recognized by the college football committee? So
yeah, there's a resume to be built here.
We got a Pitt pick off there. That saves us. I know in G5 last week we were getting some slack back on going against Hawaii's offense. Fair enough. So
yeah, a lot of people were commenting after it goes live and game ends though. So
hindsight's 2020 in the YouTube comments, Jen.
Come at us right now.
2020,
not later.
This is live. It's Wednesday night. This is the way we feel.
Those who picked the game after the results gone final are, I think, 100% on being correct. I think that's how that works.
It's good odds. I mean, heavily favored in getting that pick right after the score goes final. All right, that is Pitt Notre Dame. Let's keep it moving down the line. Let's head back to the SEC. Let's talk the rematch of the SEC title from just a year ago. Texas heads on the road between the hedges to take on the Bulldogs of Georgia, a team we mentioned earlier. Not so sure. We don't have a real true gut feeling on Georgia. We know Texas and their offensive struggles. Feels like they figured a few things out. Makes this game really interesting. Georgia, 6.5-point favorite. Where do you see this game? Reese, break it down for us.
I think eyes here, you're going to the Georgia offense versus that Texas defense, which has looked spotty, but it's also looked really good this year. I think it's the strength of this team. That's what was keeping him around when, Arch was not being Arch Manning, which he's coming to as of late. They got a big win against Vanderbilt last week. Then I think the big thing too, Texas defensively in the trenches, I think they might have a little bit of an edge here as well. You take the running game away from Frazier and Stockton with his legs. You make them try to beat you in the air. But then, what is Bobo offense are you going to try to do to combat that? Do you get quick throws out to Branch and let him catch balls in space, make guys miss? So, it's still a very smart offensive coach and a very smart defensive coach. So, I think it's going to be more schemes up. What do we do to kind of combat that? And then also, Stockton's been playing extremely well lately. I mean, he's got 9 touchdowns in his last 3 games. So, a hot-handed quarterback on both sides of the football. And, yeah, Texas, was soft to start the year. They have a couple of good wins. And you do have, Arch's only 2 wins thus far on the road or against Kentucky and Mississippi State. But still, it's hard to win. Those are 2 on the road. It's hard to win football games.
They're hard to win in the SEC.
Hard to win in the SEC. You still got to win football games. Like you're down 17 Mississippi State, but guess what? You still find a way to come back and win that football game. So give them credit when credit's due. So they're still around this thing, but I think Arch has just got to come in and you have to play extremely well right away. We haven't seen, when we talk about usually these national championship Georgia teams, it's the defense that's their, the strongest thing about them. And that's just not what this Georgia team has. So I think in the first half, we're going to see what this game is all going to be about, because if Georgia's giving up 3rd and longs or Texas getting that run game going, then we're going to have the battle the whole time. But if Texas is able to kind of, get after Arch early and put pressure on him, because Arch's also 2 losses this year are on the road to Florida and on the road to Ohio State, and Athens is not a fun place to play too. So I kind of like those odds if I'm the Georgia team.
I feel like I should rename myself to the something's gotta give guy, because I've really turned into me just repeating that every time we preview a big time matchup like this with 2 major brands within the sport. And my something's gotta give is obviously Georgia has run the football extremely well. And that's a credit to Stockton's legs and Frazier being almost an option 1B for what that offense has done consistently throughout the year. Mm-hmm. On the defensive side of things, Texas is the 2nd best run stopping team in the country by statistics, giving up under 80 yards per game. Something's got to give there, gents. Either Georgia can get it going on the ground, or Texas is going to put the Georgia offense in a spot where we got to see Stockton sling it around the yard a little bit. That can put this Georgia team in some trouble. Back early in the Stockton days when he had to make his college football playoff debut, we saw some questionable throws, to say the least. They got to put him back in that spot. Obviously, the experience adds to it. I think on the flip side of things, if you're Texas offensively, you got to do some things. Georgia's defense is Kirby Smart led. It's still pretty good. In that Mississippi State comeback, like Reese mentioned, it took some massive plays via special teams to get that thing kind of sparked and going. I think you're going to need something similar here. I think it's just a bad spot in a rematch spot. I mean, there's still going to be those feelings of these 2 massive brands to where you're going to need either massive turnovers when you force Stockton to throw the ball, or you're going to need something big on special teams to spark you to a win between the hedges in a spot like this. JP?
Yeah, I think there's a world in which the Texas offense kind of moves a little bit better on the ground, and we use Arch's legs to kind of make some more plays. And it's not just the classic between the tackles, work through everything, because the Georgia defensive line's been solid. It hasn't been disruptive to a point in which you're used to a Georgia defensive line being, which is extremely high level. But therein lies the point still. It's been gettable. If that's gettable, then you feel like you can open up the pass game. Georgia has been, shown that they can get beat deep in the pass game. Tennessee got them a couple times. Other teams have had chances. Now, are you believing Arch is going to be in that vertical pass game hitting spots? He had a couple in the Florida game that he missed that were open early, in some other spots as well. And it's kind of opened up. It's not saying the athletes aren't there, but the vertical game hasn't been there as much in the passing offense for Texas. And it's a lot of what Nebraska does similarly. Like it's 0 to 5 yards in the line of scrimmage and getting the ball in the playmaker's hands. So if you can tackle on the edge, it helps you a ton. I think Georgia can tackle on the edge, and the hope is that they can just rally to a football and make plays, and you're not giving up plays like Vanderbilt was, where we're missing one-on-ones, open field, tough tackles, but they have to be made in this situation playing a team like this. Flip it to the other side. Like I don't expect Georgia to start humming in their run game. Stop me if you've heard this before. There's a team in college football that hasn't gotten the run game figured out, and a lot of them live down south right now. That's just the reality of the situation in the SEC. There's really good run defenses, but there's a lot of offenses that, no matter who they've played, haven't clicked on the ground. But there's something else there that I think, if that can work a little bit and Texas brings some pressure with a really good defensive line, maybe Stockton is just able to hit a couple. Maybe it's a Delp situation where you found a guy that's working out for you, and now he's become the check down. He's become the prime target in a lot of spots. So for me, whoever can kind of slow the other one from popping anything big, because I don't expect either run game to really go. Whoever can stop things from hitting big throughout everything, wins this football game. Texas has got to survive a fourth quarter, second half Georgia team, and that part's got to be kind of scary.
Jake?
Yeah, I'll keep that short. You guys made a lot of good points. Like Georgia's defense, man, it's good clearly, but it's super hard to read. The stats kind of speak for itself. JP mentioned they're not disruptive because they're like in the bottom 100 in sacks and pressure rate, but they're still top 20 in scoring defense. They're still top 20 in yards per game. Like it's really hard to read. Here's where Texas could maybe get them is Georgia's 81st in third down defense. Stay on the field. I looked at the over-under because I was like, what's the vibe on this game? 48.5. When you first look at this game on paper, you're thinking defense, this will be a slugfest. This is going to be a fantastic Saturday night November game between the hedges. You guys laid it out there. But I kind of see this becoming a little bit of a track meet, a little bit. Like I could see both teams maybe getting upper 20s. One team gets to 30. Michael Taff is still out. I'm assuming he's been out. He's got his hand surgery. So the back end for Texas feels like it's still there for these Georgia receivers. But yeah, like JP just said it. Texas, if you're going to get out to a good lead, keep it. Stay on the field. Ole Miss did their job for the first 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter happened. I think Texas has the defense to hold off Georgia if they build a big lead. But can they get there? Is this Texas offense have they actually figured it out? This is going to be the biggest test and see if this team is really playoff caliber.
Where do you see the game pick-wise? Jake, we're going right back to you. You think the Dogs cover the number at 6.5, or do you like Texas to keep it close enough in this high-scoring battle you see?
Yeah, been back and forth. This one's vibes for me. JP mentioned vibes pick. This one's vibes for me.
Vibes.
Third time we've used the word vibes.
Ball up top.
Keep going.
Georgia, the only team they've lost to in Athens since 2021 is Alabama. They beat this team twice last year. It just feels like Georgia has Texas' number, kind of like Alabama has Georgia's number. And at home, I like the Dogs in this one. I like them covering, even if it's just by a touchdown. I hope it's a great game. This is going to be a fun Saturday primetime game. I can see Georgia, it's like a 4-point game, and maybe Stockton goes out and they get one more big play to go up 10 or 11 and seal the deal there.
All right, I'm using my gut feeling pick. I guess you could say vibes. I'll join that team. For some reason, this little voice in the back of my head is saying 34-27, Georgia in overtime, which means they get the ball first. I just see it that way. So I like them covering the number. I think Texas defense will keep it tight towards the front, but those big explosive plays, which Jake sees happening, so it's not just me, will make it that 34-27 game. I like the Dogs at home to cover the number, but I see an overtime football game here, gents. JP.
Hope so.
Taking overtime and the favorite to cover 6.5 just as that $2 to pay a couple thousand.
College football.
Yeah, exactly. I have Georgia here just because I think there's a second half pop here that happens when you're between the hedges and just in general. So I understand that, there's a world in which Texas comes out and plays really good defense, and you're just playing in a spot where you're like, they can't get anything going. Like Gunnar hasn't popped anything downfield. He's been under some pressure. There's no run game running. On the flip side, Arch has got to do the same thing, right? Like this is still a team that's confident, feels like I'd say both teams kind of feel like they're underdogs throughout the national perspective. Nobody plays underdog
where they're at,
better than Kirby Smart, and from literally being on the highest pedestal at times, right? Yeah. So I'll take Kirby and I'll lay him. But I don't think that's for a lack of Texas being a good football team and being around in this one.
Reese.
Turns out barking at your boss is inappropriate. I'm going to take the Dogs in this spot as well, too.
Great commercial.
Great commercial.
You're talking about that. Georgia in this spot, it's 2-0 last year against them. Texas defense does make me a little nervous, but we've seen this Georgia team be able to put up a lot of points this year. They go put up 45 in Knoxville, and I think even with the good defense coming into town, I think they'll be able to put up points if they need to. So
good pick, Bark. Yeah, good pick, Bark boy.
JP, you got a little note there pointing at something?
No, Joe Labus, how about 75 to the crib for the Chips?
Oh, yeah, Chippewas in action right now. I'm action in full swing. God, it's good to be back. But all right, that is the SEC championship rematch, Texas and Georgia. Let us know in the comments where you see that matchup. Also, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think of the show, what your predictions are, Week 11 takeaways, whatever you got. Let us know. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let's move to the G5 game of the week. And the pick is in. It's Kennesaw State at Jax State. Why wouldn't it be, guys? 3.5 in favor of the Owls, who have not lost a game since September 6th. And then on the flip side, Jax State rips off 4 in a row. They have not lost since September 27th. Both teams with undefeated Octobers, of course. We're into November. They're the last 2 5-0 teams within Conference USA. That's what our guy, the Friday KC, stayed around for, is to break down Jax State and that just beautiful night game we're about to get this weekend. Jake, talk about it.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, AKC, but I'll try to lay it out a little bit. This feels like in Kennesaw's 9-year football tenure, going back to the FCS days, this feels like a little bit of a rivalry between the two. They're like, I've been on the right side of
Just a
Twitter,
couple of
which is hard.
states.
It's hard to get on sometimes, but the right side of Twitter is just some hate between these two.
There is
Ironically, neither is a state. They're just cities in their
Yeah.
respective state.
and that's Alabama,
Confusing.
Jacksonville to you folks
Confusing
at home.
people.
I'll give you a little history lesson. They've played 5 times. I think maybe the biggest game between these two is a 5 overtime game. I think they were still in the FCS. They played it in 2021 in the Braves Stadium. Just kind of a classic if you guys want to go look that one up on YouTube. For Kennesaw, a team we definitely undervalued in the preseason. We kind of even got roasted for it a little bit on Twitter, and by all means feel like it was deserved because this team it's damn good. I think it's the Banyard brothers, Gabriel, Garland on defense, second on the team in tackles. Gabriel might be the fastest player in Conference USA. He is one of the better receivers in the group of 5. For the longest time, Kennesaw has been doing it with a 2-quarterback system between Amari Odom and Dexter Williams. Odom played the entire time last week. And I think that we're in the month of November, fellas. We're undefeated in conference. We're trying to go win a conference title. I think that they've decided to go with Odom the rest of the way. It feels like that would be a smart play to do. But it's been Kennesaw's defense that's been backing them up the entire time. They haven't given up more than 26 points in Conference USA. They lead Conference USA in sacks. This is a really good disruptive defense, and they're going against the Jack State offense. Super run heavy. Obviously, I think Cam Cook is finally getting the recognition he deserves. They move over to Caden Creel, who's won 4 in a row for them at quarterback, the freshman after I don't know if Gavin Wimstep got hurt or they just sat him or what the deal was there, but Creel, he's been really good.
He still pops in a little bit.
Okay, does he? Thank you. This is why you watch the games, Jordan. He's rushed for over 100 yards in 3 of the 5 starts for him. So it's going to be a super run-heavy offense going up against a really good Kennesaw defense. I love this matchup. I think it's going to be awesome. I had Jax last week. The line was 1.5 on the road in El Paso. And I was just like, something didn't feel right there. I know we've seen teams like, what do you call it, JP? A principal play where like you take the home team in kind of a weird spot like that. But, you know, Jack State's one of the best teams in this conference for a reason. They don't go on the road and lose games like that. And this is setting up to be a fantastic matchup. And it might even be just a rematch we get in a few weeks.
I'm very glad we finally get to talk Jack State, one of my overall favorite G5 teams. I'm not just saying that to pump up the Friday KC, but I'm a big Clint Trickett guy and what he's done with that program, and he's still around. I believe in him as a coach, became that way ever since Last Chance U came out. I think Cam Cook, as much as we mentioned him getting national flowers and just mentioning him from Jake, doesn't even get enough for what he's done, right? Leading rusher in all of college football, reigns in Jacksonville, Alabama. Pretty cool. It's one of the G5 stories. Not obviously as much coverage as Ashton Jeanty was getting, but it's up there. I mean, he's a talented back and he's been consistent throughout his pretty much entire career. But like Jake said, Jack State's been impressive over the last four weeks. But Kennesaw State, guys, what they've done, even since the beginning, one of those 2 losses was against Indiana, who we're talking about possibly playing for the national title this year. And the week before, they probably should have beat Wake Forest. I think it was just a new look for Kennesaw State, and they didn't know their identity yet. This could be a 7-1 football team. And a lot of it comes down to the success of a few players on their defense and guys that will have to step up this week. You look at Barron, Kennesaw State linebacker, he's got to be massive this week against a Cam Cook run-heavy team in Jack State. If guys like him can step up, guys like him, who I should have mentioned, post 86 tackles already on the season, then you get into this real dogfight. But being a favorite in this game as Kennesaw State shouldn't go unnoticed. And there's a reason Jake went back and made her TikTok on what Kennesaw State's been doing as a program. I got to ride Jack State here, though. I think they can get it done on the ground at home. It's in a big spot. Hopefully the fans realize what kind of spot this is, because you're really playing for the upper hand in Conference USA. And it almost feels like it'll get you in the title game if you win this one. So I like Jack State. This is going to be a dogfight, gents. JP.
Yeah, I think one thing for Jacksonville State is like, can you get enough stops here? Like, I think we're
to.
underselling what Kennesaw has done offensively in some spots.
That's fair.
Odom's kind of the better passer. They've kind of found a way to pop things over the top. And Jacksonville State's been solid defensively, but it has not been like standout, just, one of the best defenses in the conference. It's been solid. But Kennesaw has gotten away good over the top. And when they get you, they've gotten you a lot. If you watch a couple weeks ago when they were doing weekday CUSA, like, they got a couple teams quick and just kind of gashed them and slowly just started, pulling away more and more. And Odom is very good at not turning it over. They find ways to consistently keep drives alive and play within themselves. Like, you go back to your identity piece, Parks. They found it. They know who they are. They know what they do well. They're confident. They're also a team that preseason nobody really had any, real hype about or real confidence in.
No, it's the rebuild team. This is the team you pick when you rebuild a program because they're new.
I just think Jacksonville State has to find a way to, get stops. And it sounds odd, but when you possess the ball for as much time as they do with that run game, like, you can't just give up another score and you can't give up another big play. So it's keeping big plays to a minimum for me. The Kennesaw State defense has stepped up big time in Conference USA play. Overall numbers will tell you 4.3 yards of rush, which I think is like pretty average. It's right around like 68th, 69th in the country, where, that's what Jacksonville State does. Last week, I think Creel kind of showed a different level of the run game, right? You were just highlighting that game at UTEP last week. Jake, I think he was 13 for 134 last week in the Sun Bowl. And that helps because now it's not just Cam Cook. I like some of the receivers Jacksonville State has. Creel obviously is not a great passer. That's why some of these other pieces show up. You have to find a way to make it the easy throws, and then we have to supplement it again if you're Creel. I think Kennesaw has a real, we're favorites, but nobody really expects us to go in there and beat a team that has been in Conference USA towards the top the last couple of years, to be honest with you, ever since joining it. So it's a tough one for me. It's pure flip. 3.5, 3. I thought was even crazy. This screams pick 'em to me. And so that's kind of crazy part is if this is, in Kennesaw, Georgia, are they 5-6 point favorites? Not that I'm saying they get 2 or 3 for home field based on that place, but you never know. Like that's
they might, they should.
Here we are.
They're undefeated at home. They don't lose at home. It's a fair point. And the Friday AKC making good comments. Kennesaw State is beating up on the bottom side of Conference USA. Their best win is the 6th best team overall in the conference. Something to think about, something to stew on for your pick. Reese, your breakdown of the game.
So, the one set that jumped out to me when I was looking at this one is, as solid as that Kennesaw State defense is, they're still giving up 4.1 yards per attempt on the ground. And if you're Cam Cook and Clint Trinket,
big stat.
You're looking at that and you're like, that's kind of our success on first and second downs. Because, Creel didn't throw the ball too well. So, let's get the read game going. Let's get some zones option going. Let's get the ground game going, because if we can do that, especially at home, and we talk about how good Odom is, and JP talked about the weapons he's got outside. Ben Yard, Shaver mentioned him too. Like, if they can get the pass game going, they're going to lean on that. So if you're Jack State, let's get the football and let's hold on to it, because Odom doesn't turn that ball over a whole lot. So if Jack State gets the football, hand it off to your guy, let him go do his thing. He's the leader in rushing for the FBS for a reason. He's got a solid line ahead of him, and he just is he's an athlete. He's a college football running back. He's an athlete. Let him go be a guy. Let him go make plays for you, and let him continue it with his legs. And I just think Kennesaw State, you're going on the road here. Early on, they talk about Odom turn the ball over. You just have to be successful on third down as well too early, because Jack State defensively, not the best in this conference, but still if they're gonna be well enough, if they can get a couple stops in that second quarter, especially the first half, you can keep them under 14. Like, Jack State, you have a very real shot at winning this thing and beating a team that's obviously favored over you and remain undefeated in this conference play.
I think one fun thing that popped in my head, JP, while you were giving your breakdown, is how similar to a feeling this is, especially for this game, for Jack State versus like a Boise State last year, where you have an elite running back, an elite run game, that you're basically asking your quarterback to just do enough, do the little things well, and you'll set up your team to be in a successful winning position. And that's exactly what we talked about last year with Maddox Madsen and Ashton Ginty. It feels the same, and Creel's just done enough since he's come in and he's already taking the leading stats, even though he didn't start half the year. So it's damn impressive what's been going down there. Let's go to the picks in this game. I know we talked a lot on both sides, a lot of upsides. Odom throws a great deep ball. We talked Cam Cook, gave him his flowers. Where do you see this one? You like Jack State to cover the number, win outright? Where do you see it? Reese, going to you first.
I'm not going to go away from our boy in the chat who's been with us since day one here. Give me
Just riding
Jack
for the
State.
show.
They're going to win.
Just riding for the show. I love that. Jake.
Yeah, just the play styles in this one even feels like 24-21. And if that's the case, I'm not laying it up with the team on the road getting 3.5. That's just such a crappy number in this one. It just feels so gross. So I'll take the run team. Even then, I'll take the 3. This feels like an overtime game. Even if Jack State doesn't come out and win.
A lot of overtime games this week.
Got a shout out to our AWL. I think Jack State can cover it, even if it's 3 points. I can't believe like Creel's already top 5 in rushing in the conference. He's played 4 or 5 games. That's how well he's been going. Like, keep the time of possession in your favor and keep the ball out of Kennesaw State's hands.
JP.
This is a live show, and I assume that we're going to work our way towards a possible another sweep. I want to ask our friend AKC, do you want a sweep? Do you want some contrarians here? Like,
what can we do for you?
Hey,
that's what we're here to do. It pays to watch live because we are interacting with the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe here. Check us out on the chat 7:30 Wednesday nights. I just want to make sure I'm taking care of the ones that take care of us. So I'm kind of with everybody in that, like, one of the spots that does hurt this Kennesaw team is the run defense. I think they'll get theirs offensively, but you are then asking them, to go win a tough road game in a big spot with the lights feel like they're on right now on this Kennesaw program and not as much on Jack State, which is kind of the backwards way it's been the last couple of years. So I'll take the +3. I just need to know if he thinks someone would pop that comment open if he's got it. I'll take the +3.
Sweep is easy work. So
perfect. I'll take +3.
Thank God he said that, because the only way I see this game is it feels like I'm walking into a mattress store after looking at Amazon. I just need a new mattress. Don't care about the quality. And all of a sudden, some bastard is upselling me to some Serta mattress that has heating and cooling technologies. That's what the AKC's done to me, done this, because I was like, man, I like Kennesaw State the way they've been playing. Odom throws an incredible deep ball. They can strike quick. We've seen some downsides of Jack State giving up quick strikes. No, man. Oh, they have played the bottom half of the conference. That was something I didn't mention or didn't notice that I was made aware of. So give me the damn Gamecocks at home outright to stay undefeated in Conference USA. 6-0. Give me Jack State. Give me Cam Cook. You need Army-level time of possession killer, and I think they can accomplish it with the run game and what Kennesaw State has given up. So give me Jack State.
The ass cake and chicken.
All right, that's the G5 game of the week. We appreciate you listening. If you're a G5 fan or Jack State fan, Kennesaw State fan, Shop No Rivals. I know Kennesaw State, I believe, is on there. If not, check them out. Code PTFS, request your team. They'll get them added. Shout out shopnorivals.com today. Use the code PTFS for free shipping on those best hats in collegiate sports, I might add. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Shout out to the G5. All right, let's go to picks of the weekend. That's our best bets. That's our underdogs of the week. Gentlemen, there's been some movement on the dog's dog. We mentioned at the beginning of the show. Jake and I, outright winners last week. Best bets, 3 wins on the best bets last week. The show's starting to cook a little bit. Starting to see the board. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go best bets first. Jake, let you go first last time, not this week. Reese, you're up.
All right, well, we got to see one go through here. So we're going good team playing against a bad team this time. They disappointed me last week, but how about Indiana getting Wisconsin at home minus the 28?
Hey, Wisconsin coming off a massive win. Massive win.
Yeah.
For the program.
Time for Signetti to remind those guys who they are.
Those guys owe me $150 out in Seattle, just so everybody knows. That was the last leg.
Reese is going back to the well.
Going back to Indiana. That's fair.
Indiana disappointed last week. He's going back
if
to
I
the
wasn't
well.
going to go first, I was going to let you guys pick. Should I go team? Should I go spread or should I go team total? Because the team total is at 36.5. I think they're also going to hit that. So
yeah, I think they go up on that. I mean, no offense, but like Iowa puts up 37 with what Signetti does to teams on the scoreboard, 37 or more.
Trying to get Mendoza that Heisman.
Yeah. JP, best bet. Sorry. Should have went to
okay.
That's how you went.
Yeah, no worries. There's a couple I had on here. I was actually looking one up on the side.
I like
just to
2 as well. Don't do it.
I don't think you're going to be on either one of mine. I kind of like the under in Georgia, Texas, 48.5, to be honest with you. I know you guys kind of said it'd go up. I liked the number at 49.5. I like it at 48.5.
That overtime's going to kill you.
undisclosed. Yeah, one of those undisclosed books will give me a boost just because it's one of the bigger games, and I can move that however I please. But I'll take the under 48.5. And I'll mention the other one, but I don't think you'll have the other one.
Jake?
Yeah, I was even going to give out more points in this one, and I saw it drop, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to just make it easy on myself, but I took it at a worse number because I thought it was going the other way. I got Duke -4 against Virginia.
Yeah, you probably should buy out of that, huh?
We're already. I have it at 6. I feel good with it. I think this can be a double.
Let it
Right.
ride. It's best bet, maybe.
I think this could be a double-digit win for Duke. Chandler Morris, I'm assuming this number's coming down because I'm assuming he's going to play. He was in like concussion protocol or something. Virginia just feels like the wheels kind of fell off. I mean, their offense, fellas, couldn't do anything against Wake at home last week. And Darian Mensah has been playing phenomenal. I don't know where the offense comes from Virginia. The defense is going to have to play awesome if they're going to want to stay in this one. But I feel like now that the wheels kind of fell off, there's another team that they might be sitting at 5-4 overall, but Duke's sitting there at 4-1 in conference play as well. And this win would be just as big as if Virginia won the football game too. So both these teams fighting to get to Charlotte. I like Duke winning this one pretty easily, to be honest with you.
Love it. I'm going to also subscribe to the theory of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, the team has been winning for our best bets, and that's USF on the road, headed to Navy as a 9.5-point favorite. It took a couple of big plays early in the game last week for USF bettors and fans to feel really good about what they did in that matchup against UTSA with the spread as close as it was. But I think they cover this number pretty easily. I think if you're USF, you're trying to make a statement with every win that you have from here on out to get that college football playoff bid, and you've got to win in a very similar fashion to what Notre Dame just did to this Navy team. So I like Byron Brown and USF to have another day. And I'm also very excited, quick plug, to see whatever they recorded on. I don't know if you follow USF socials when it comes to football highlights. Last week, they recorded it on a birdhouse, like that came with a camera.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, they did it on like a Ring camera. Like they're just doing different various items that come installed with cameras. It's pretty cool to watch. So shout out USF. I like them as my best bet of the week. JP, what was your second one? Did it get said?
It's Georgia Southern -2.5.
These don't count towards the board, but go ahead.
Yeah, like I had Georgia Southern in my Sun Belt title game preseason, and they really got off to a rough start. Now
you should see our Big 12 title graphic.
Yeah, they're red hot, and they're going in there to Statesboro. I believe this is in Statesboro, and it's 2.5. And neither team can stop the run, is what's basically kept me off this. And so that's what Coastal does well, is run the football. Southern can't stop the run. They haven't ran it very well themselves. And then Coastal can't stop the run. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just stay away from that. But I don't mind the 2.5 there with Southern.
I'll give another one too. Little free play here. Subscribe to the show.
More.
All right. We'll give you a couple more winners. Screw it. How about Western Kentucky at home, 13.5 against Middle Tennessee? I don't know if there's a lot more fandoms in the world worse than Middle Tennessee fans right now.
What's that rivalry called? Is that 100? That's not 100.
The ass whooping Western Kentucky's about to put on is what it's called. 13.5. Give
rivalry
me
game.
The Hilltoppers. Yeah, it is a rivalry game. Don't care. They can't stop them, and Western Kentucky can score. Jake, what's your other play?
Again, I took this at 4. I actually got this one at the right number. I took this at 14. I think it's up to 15.5, 16, somewhere in there. Fellas, wouldn't it just be hilarious if Lane Kiffin lays 50 on Florida and then says I'm not taking the job? Like, I just think Lane is going to want to just absolutely.
You think he'd do it in the post-game interview?
He will.
Yeah, man.
He's like that type of media dumb.
There
is guys all the time. It's hilarious.
Florida's offense has no idea what they're doing. Feels like the defense has given up. I mean, you gave up a bunch to Kentucky. Like, I see Lane trying to score until the clock reads 0. I think he's scoring the entire time.
Reese, you got another one? Since we're throwing 2 out there, you might as well check if there's one that tickled your feathers.
Big 12 Shafe. I don't think anybody can. We just saw what they did last week. I don't think UCF's going to block them. I think Texas Tech minus the 23.5 might
not
be.
Where I thought you were going. It's not
where
yucky.
But I like it.
Good one.
God Frost had some interesting comments from the media this week, so we'll see if they can come back and put up a fight against a top 6 team in college football playoff rankings.
Yeah, 6.
All right, let's go to the best bets. I'm sorry, the dog's dog. We just did the
There you
best bets. Dog's dog of the weekend. That is our underdog pick of the week. Gents, how do you feel about it? And what is it? Jake,
Are you
I'll
gonna?
let you
Are
go
you
first
going?
now.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you want to go through last week? Just I know you kind of recap the week before. If you want to,
Or did Shay?
I do.
Did Shay finally win one? So he wants to have it go.
Yes, he does, and that's fair.
I just want to hear
week,
Parks' winner too.
Mississippi State plus 9.5 for Reese did not hit.
Oh, that's why.
Never felt like it had a
Not
chance,
even a
to be
little
honest.
bit. Not even
for
a
half
little
of
bit.
it. Myself,
I didn't have a
Iowa
chance
State
either.
plus 6.5. It's a culture win. I could smell it from a mile away. There ain't no culture in Fort Worth.
It's a
There's
W
culture
on the
in
field.
Ames, Iowa.
It's a W.
I'll
on
tell you
the
that
field.
right now. I texted him multiple times throughout the game. This is culture. When they took the lead in the first quarter, culture. I texted him. They won the game outright. Iowa State, pure winner. JP, Boston College plus the 10.5. Not good.
Red
Well,
bandana
uniforms look
game.
great.
I love that
uniforms
one
are
too,
great.
JP.
Result not good.
We got to honor a little bit better.
I like that
You gotta
pick.
play with a little
It's a
more pride.
moral pick. Very ethical pick from JP. Jake, winner.
Someone should
Missouri
count
State
it.
plus 7.5. They
On the
covered
field.
and won that thing.
On the field. Yep.
On the
On the
field,
field.
baby. On the field. All right. Standing sit at Reese with 18 points, leading it. Myself following with 17. Jake behind me with 16. And JP down there with 13. JP, you need a big time win this weekend to get
Ice
back
cold.
in the mix. Let's go you first.
Mhm.
Underdog
I'm
of the
gonna go
week.
first.
Give you a chance.
There's a team in the Big 12 starting to feel kind of good about themselves.
Wait, pause.
Ramen,
Great,
or Haman,
great
what?
mention. We're giving away free money. We got
Plus
the inside
13.
source. This could be illegal, but the sources say, yes, for a streaker on the field
Are we
at Jack
finally-
State,
Are
Kennesaw
we going to
State.
find out who Friday KC is?
Yeah, we are. And we're going to find out a lot about it. And depending on how strong streaker is, we're going to find out quite a bit. We're going to find how fried that AKC is. I
Make
like
sure
that
it's warm
comment.
night.
JP, back to your pick.
Yeah. I'm going to take West Virginia plus points. It's 11.5. It's in Tempe. It's going to be gross. Jeff Sims still playing quarterback there, just so we all
He's very
understand
good.
that, right?
Really good runner.
He's
Oh.
can run the football, confirmed.
Saw that.
But I'm gonna
tight.
I'm gonna take it. You're giving me over 2 scores with a team that's getting comfortable with themselves. They've kind of started to find a way a little bit more.
Great try.
College football, man. 11.5.
Jake, your underdog of the week.
Yeah, that was on my list, and then I don't know. I feel like West
Got 'em out of
Virginia's
sorts.
feeling they're flying high because they got second 2 wins in a row. Juju Lewis. I ran too much for my own comfortability to trust West Virginia to go to Tempe, but I don't hate the play. I got 2. We'll do this one. How much fight does Penn State have left? And now
I was thinking
know-
about that game too, Jake. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that game.
Yeah.
Do we all
Michigan
realize they're
State,
still betting on
Michigan
Michigan
7.5, the
State.
hook.
You
Michigan
pick-
State.
You pick the gross one in my conference, JP. I'll pick the gross one in your conference. I give you Sparty plus 7.5.
Tough day for Sparty, by the way. Hell of a day to talk about him.
Did they did they change quarterbacks?
Yes.
Did he get hurt? Did Childs get hurt, or
No.
what was the deal? They just
No, he's
they
just
just
not
cha-
playing good.
even better. Go to the new guy, start something fresh. Like you play all these
Yes.
close games if you're Penn State, and it's just like, are you really going to show up in East Lansing when both of you have 0 conference wins? And do you really want to win that game that bad? Does that really matter? You had the chance to knock off a top 5 team last week, and now it's like, okay, get up off the mat. You got to go play
Mhm.
0-6 Michigan State in conference, where they got a new young quarterback who maybe wants to make a name for himself. Primetime CBS, big game of the week. East Lansing, get up, lose by a touchdown, or just win it on the field. On the field.
All right.
7.5.
Michigan State plus the 7.5. The hook is huge there. We will see what that one goes. Gents, for my pick, let me build it a little bit. Let's say you're the captain of this big ship everybody knows of called the Titanic, and you drill the iceberg, and this thing starts going down. Are you getting off that ship?
Just too
Hell
soon.
no. You got to ride it all the way down and freeze your ass off. Give me Jack State plus the 3.5. I'm riding with our guy. That number covers
All right.
the regulations we have to have for this show. So give me them to win and win the game outright against Kennesaw State in the G5 game of the week. Give me Jack State. Reese.
Well, I'm going to a team that no other podcasts are talking about or give them their flowers. They're talking all about the other team, how they went and played well and won on the road. But this is a good team going out west.
This fucking guy.
Iowa plus the 7.
What a
on
build.
the road.
That was a little chop
They're
shot.
gonna
That's
paddle
chop
their
block,
ass
JP.
off here.
That was a chop block, JP. You feel
it's
clean
a
about
chop
that
block, but
blindside
guess
hit.
what? I'm also picking his team to win, so it comes right back up. So we're good there.
Okay,
Matchup
JP, any
is
comments? Yeah, how do you
not
feel?
good.
Plus 6.5?
Matchup.
Watch the fan perspective that dropped at 7:15 today. Jake, what?
No,
There we
I
go.
wanted to take USC, but I laid it with Indiana. That didn't get there, and I laid it with
You
Oregon, so I'm
actually,
not gonna
Jacob,
do it.
you go lay it because the last two
No, I'm not
times
gonna-
you've laid it in this spot,
yeah.
Iowa's been in this game. had a
That's
chance. So
why I'm
go
not
fucking
going
lay it.
to.
Don't
That's
tell
why
me you're
I'm-
going to. Go do it.
That's why I'm
Go
not
do
going
it,
to do
Jacob.
it. I'm not going to do it.
That's soft stuff.
The
That's so
Hawks- the
soft.
Hawks
you
got it
Charmin
again.
SOB. You're
Hawks
Ted
are a
Law,
good
bud.
football team.
For me, it's a different kind of matchup. You're not,
Yeah.
in a spot where you're bringing a team in. Here's the difference, though, is I don't know if Phil's going to dial it up and try to just get after Maeva like he did Mendoza, because Maeva moves around pretty well. He didn't really dial up against Moore, but they weren't dropping him back near as much. Like, you got to be better along the defensive line, and if you are, you're now trusting Maeva to make Mendoza level throws, which is, I like my favorite. He throws a couple more that don't hit exact spots and dots. So that's the thing. But you have to be able to control the football, and we can't make mistakes. You go back to the Indiana game, mistake cost us. Oregon game, one mistake cost
Is
you.
this a,
I actually,
Hawks,
Plus 7.
Sparks.
Book it.
Is this a culture game for the Hawks? Would you say this is a culture game for the
In
Hawks?
what way, though? Like, the culture's never
no,
been
you
a
got to
problem.
lose
They
4
lose
straight
games
to get to
even
a
when-
culture game. Got to lose 4 straight. You got to be honest with you. That's when the real culture prevails. Not
But it's
Doc
just,
Rivers
Abilities
or
are
real
it's the
field goal.
last opportunity for Iowa to earn the respect that JP's demanding. That's the last one of the year. Because if you lose this one, then what? You got
everybody else around the country
that an
gets
attack
respect
on
when they lose
Nebraska right
close
now?
to really good teams.
You got it. I mean,
They
you
got
play-
2 losses to teams in the top 10, and it's like, they haven't beat a ranked team since Timbuktu and freaking
Parks,
Nam.
he just attacked your Huskers.
I mean,
That's
they-
fine.
Who?
They deserve
It's
it.
with
They
the
lost
freshman-
both ranked teams at home.
He
They
just sketched
shouldn't
your
be
Huskers.
given
and it's a
flowers.
freshman quarterback. Like, if they go there and beat him in Lincoln, they'll just say it's a freshman quarterback. It doesn't count. Like, I know the narrative already.
Nebraska would have won
that-
that game.
They should have won that
I-
game.
Still, believe me, I know. But
I actually
Coulda,
like the
shoulda,
matchup
woulda.
in favor of Iowa. I disagree. I think King Miller is third string running back. People forget that he's playing at an
pretty damn
extremely
good.
high level. I think Iowa can limit them better than Nebraska can on the offensive side of the ball because we haven't been able to stop the run. That's what USC did extremely well against us. I actually like the
just
matchup.
getting-
I like the pick.
You're getting Iowa on the West Coast, which is traditionally and historically not good,
not good.
and then you're getting USC at home, which is a different team than usually
Sounds
leaves the
like they're
Coliseum.
due for one.
So need a narrative changing game for the
Yeah,
culture. I'm
exactly. You have to
Maybe
literally
it
This is
rewrite
a must
history.
win. This is a must win or can't lose for the Hawks. Either way.
hearing. Actually,
plus
no,
7.
not a must win. They got a couple games after. That's all they got to do is win those. That's what I
They
heard.
could lose
from
4
Pitt.
straight. That possibility's there, fellas.
Boy, you were all high
It
on the
is.
Hawks last week, and it's all going negative,
What-
JP.
They go on the road to play USC, then Michigan State, like, you should beat them by 30, but weird things happen, and then you have to go to Lincoln. Like,
Lincoln games is
I'll-
such a toss up
you know
with
what I
the
mean?
way
Like,
it's
who
gone,
knows?
but we can't stop the run. We'll get to that game when it comes, but I don't feel great about it. No, none of Husker Nation does. But all right, that's the show for tonight. That's the Week 12 preview. Covered a ton. Covered G5 Game of the Week, which is going to be a barn burner, 3 marquee matchups. Gents, we appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Shop great partner over at No Rivals, shopnorivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout. Come back next week. Same time, same place, same channel. Play the fight song. Jake, take it away.
Play it.